I'm gonna ask you the question: do you really want to take advice from this has-been quarterback? What's up, YouTube? This is Prince Cowboy from the Cold Cheese and Hoppers podcast. Here to talk to you about this despicable list made by this despicable character on ESPN by the name of Dan Orlovsky. Oh yes, Dan Orlovsky. I've been meaning to make a video about this guy, but he haven't said anything quite ridiculous until yesterday. So now I'm about to get on him. This is about to be a nice little roasting for him and for y'all, and hopefully y'all can enjoy this. Dan Orlovsky is an ESPN analyst. Now, you see him every morning with Stephen A. Smith and Molly and a whole bunch of other characters talking about the Cowboys relentlessly, constantly disrespecting my team and all the rest of that good jazz. But we're going to get into the history about this character and how suspect he is as an analyst and also as he is as a player. And I'm going to ask you the question: do you really want to take advice from this has-been quarterback? He's a former quarterback of 5 different teams, meaning that he was a motherless child to the NFL. Nobody really wanted him. He's kind of like what you call a foster kid looking for a home. His first team he was drafted to in 2005, 5th round pick, one round after Dak Prescott, was with the Lions. Then he went to the Texans, did 2 years there. Then he went to the Colts, did 1 season there. Went to the Bucks, and then went to the Rams. But I forgot he also went back to the Lions, and then they kick him back out on the block again. Then he went to the Bucks and ended his career in 2017 with the Rams. He spent most of his pedestrian career as a backup quarterback. In fact, hell, he was so horrible, I really didn't remember the guy at all. You know what I mean? I didn't know he was a quarterback until he came up as an analyst, and he was talking about his quarterbacking days. And he only showed himself on 1 jersey, and that's the Lions jersey, because that's the team he was drafted with. And he didn't want to get into his history about all the different teams that he was tossed around or tossed in and around about, because he was just too horrible to be a starting quarterback, or better yet, a viable backup for a team. He went to the College of Connecticut, which is not really known to be a big football school, but it's big on basketball, both men's and women's. Known for winning championships with Marcus Camby and Rebecca Lobo back in the 90s, back when they had a strong basketball unit, and they still do to this day. Still respectable basketball, collegiate sports, D1. But football, Connecticut is not really known to be a big football school. To let you know, he even went to a pedestrian college for football, but basketball, huge. Football, not so much. Now let's get into his NFL numbers. And this is the biggest reason why I say no to Dan Orlovsky advice on anything to do with quarterback rankings, because he was a low rank all his life. In fact, if you was to go get a loan at his bank, you could barely get $50 from the bank of Dan Orlovsky. Do you really want to take his advice? Check out these NFL stats. Well, I'm telling you, they're Hall of Fame numbers. Passing attempts for his whole career is 512 attempts. Hell, Dak Prescott get that in 1 season, probably almost half a season. Passing completions for his whole career now. This is his whole career. His 12-year career is 298 98 attempts or completions. 298 completions in 12 years. Hell, Dak Prescott got that within his probably first 2 or 3 seasons. His percentage rating, horrendous, is at 58.2. Do you really want to take his advice on any rankings of quarterbacks? And then you got his touchdown to interception ratios, which most of his career, all of his career, he's been a backup. He's got 15 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Right now, Dak Prescott ended his season with 15 interceptions. Same as my quarterback last year that won the Super Bowl that ended his season with 15 or more interceptions. He ended up winning the Super Bowl last year. And that's his former teammate. His name will come to me. I get back with y'all on the name that'll come to me. But that was his former teammate on the Detroit Lions. All right, Matthew Stafford. In fact, they drafted him before Matthew Stafford. They drafted him a season after, and he became the starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions for about 10 or 12 seasons before he came to the Rams to have that legendary season last year for them to win the Super Bowl. And then you got passing yards for his whole career was 3,132 yards. Hell, Dak Prescott gets that within a year, within a whole season. Passer rating, 75.3 as QBR. Horrendous. But yet he has advice on best quarterbacks in the playoffs. So let's get to the list. And I'm going to start from 1 to 14. This is according to him. Who he says are the best. Now, I agree with the first 3. All right, maybe the first 4. After the first 4, it gets shaky. But we're going to start with the name. We're going to go with the team, and then I'm going to give you the record of the team these quarterbacks play on, and then I'm going to give you my overall summary of all of this. You got Patrick Mahomes at number 1. Play for the Chiefs, record 14-3. I can agree with that. I'm down for that. Patrick Mahomes is the baddest thing kicking in the NFL right now. You got Mr. Joe Burrow. Play for the Bengals, record 12-4. I'm cool with that. I have no problem with that. You got Josh Allen. Play for the Bills, record 13-3. I ain't got no problem with that. Josh Allen's balling this year. As much as I hate to admit it, you got Jalen Hurts. He plays for the Eagles within my division. His record is 14-3. I have no problem with that. Even though I still think Hurts is still somewhat of a suspect to me, but with a record of 14-3, how can I argue with that? Now, this is when it starts to get shaky, when it totally gets disrespectful towards my quarterback that got a 12-5 record. And even though he has 15 interceptions, he still managed to get a hell of a lot more wins than these guys. Okay, you got Justin Herbert. Now keep in mind, Justin Herbert, he just not broke the playoffs this year. Just not got into the playoffs this year and hasn't had one playoff win. But he got him at number 5. Play for the Chargers, 10-7 is the record. You got Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson been suspect all year because he's been injured and he's been going through with his team an ongoing battle about his salary and his money. He's got the same record as the Chargers, 10-7. Not better than Dak Prescott's record. You got Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a shell of himself right now. This guy's a dinosaur this year. A shell of himself. Play for the Bucks. His record, 8-9. Meaning that he's got a losing record. He's got more losses than he got wins. But he's above Dak Prescott at number 7. Number 8, you got Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. Now, they within my division. He got him at number 8. 4 spots in front of Dak Prescott. And his record is 9-7. This is hard. But that's why I gave his background first before I got into the list, so you'll know how much credibility this guy really should have. You got Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence been balling. He's been coming up. You know, he's got Doug Peterson, former coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, won that 2017 championship with Nick Foles, a backup quarterback. He's been balling. Just beat the Titans this past weekend. Made sure that they didn't make it into the playoffs. He's been balling, but he still ain't Dak Prescott. He beat us on his hot streak. Play for the Jazz, 9-7. 9-8. That's their record. He barely got more wins than losses. Almost tied with wins and losses. Then you got Geno Smith. Now, Geno Smith, proud of him. I'm not hating on him. Proud of him. came up from the dirt, came up the hard way, been a backup for I don't know how many teams. He finally got a starting position after his 6 or 7 year in the season with the Seattle Seahawks. Balling out of control this year, but he still ain't better than Dak Prescott. 9-8, barely, just like Trevor Lawrence, barely have more wins than losses. But he's ahead of Dak Prescott. Then you got old Kirk Cousins. Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins. This is a man that's scared of his own shadow. You throw a little pressure at him. And obviously, when we played him, we beat him 40-3. And he still end up in front of Dak Prescott, the quarterback. They beat him 42-3 in Minnesota. His record is, of course, better than ours by 1, 13-4. But he still ain't better than Dak Prescott. And then, okay, now we get to Dak Prescott. Out of 14 quarterbacks, he's number 12. Cowboys, 12-5. Then you get to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's been balling, but this be respect, for all due respect, he's under a Shanahan system that hell. You can put a newborn baby in that system, and that baby will ball out because it's a system that you can plug anybody into it. The 49ers is 13-4. Now you got this kid that's coming in for the starting quarterback of Miami, Skylar Thompson. He's not the starter. You got Tua. I can't say the rest of his name, but everybody know Tua over Tulor or whatnot. He's a Samoan kid from Hawaii, but he got his backup starting for him for the first game of the playoffs. Dolphins 9-8. They barely got more wins than losses. So this is the list. And this is so disrespectful. Now I'm going to give you my version of the list. I'm cool with the first 4 names. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. All 4 of them deserve them spots. They've been balling out of control. I can't hate on that. You got the first 4 right. Justin Herbert, I got a big issue because the 4-letter networks, they want him to be better than Dak Prescott so bad. But the kid don't have no playoff accomplishments. Even though Dak Prescott only got 1 playoff win, he has none. And he just showed up in his 3rd year in his career now into the playoffs. Now, I don't know if he's going to get a win or not, but he just showed up. I mean, if it was my list, I would have had probably Dak Prescott at number 5 or 6. I have him at number 5 or 6. I'll probably put the only person in front of Dak Prescott, which is kind of suspect, but he's been balling, is probably Lamar Jackson at number 5. Dak Prescott should be at number 6. Trevor Lawrence should be at number 7. Geno Smith should be at 8. Tom Brady should be at. Now I put Kirk Cousins at number 9, Brady 10, and then whatever falls after that. I'm talking about this list is so disrespectful. It's crazy. I'm like, really? You really gonna put Dak Prescott at number 12? And even though he done thrown 15 interceptions, you didn't have this problem with Matthew Stafford last year when he was on his journey to the Super Bowl, when he threw all them interceptions. In fact, he threw 15 interceptions, and you still had him last year between 10 and 5. But it's because he got the star on his head. But yeah, this list right here is ridiculous. It's horrible. You can tell it's biased, and you can tell he worked for the big letter networks. And keep in mind, folks, keep in mind, Cowboy Nation, they have no love for us at all, no matter what we do. Hell, we win by 50 points. Well, I bet they can't do it in the playoffs. Oh, well, I bet they can't do it in the offseason. You don't even got games in the offseason. It's come out of nowhere. Oh, I bet they can't do it in preseason. If you do it in preseason, I bet you can't do it in the regular season. So this lets you know how much hate that they got for the Dallas Cowboys and how much they weighing on us to lose this game. Now, I'm just hoping, and I'm hoping and praying that my quarterback takes this list and take it as motivation. I hope he take it in motivation and say, hey, listen, we gonna ball out. We gonna ball out not only this game, but every game for the rest of these playoffs. Because this list is so disrespectful to Rain Dakota Prescott. And that's right, I said his whole name. Rain Dakota Prescott. But it's the end of my video. You tell me what you think below in the comments. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Cold Cheese and Hot Buzz Podcast. This is your boy Prince Cowboy, and I'm out.